In this tutorial, I'll show you how to compare your students' RISE scores over time. First, go to utahrise.org and click on Reporting and log in. If you're logging in at the beginning of a new school year, you'll find that the reports will reset to show you only what's available for your current students, but you can change that. Click on Change the Reporting Time Period, and if you want to see the scores from last year, click on View Results for school year 2022-23. And if you want to see these results for students who were yours last year, change the roster date to the last Friday in May. Last Friday in May is always a good roster date to choose for viewing last year's rosters at the end of the year. And then click Save. So now I've switched to my 2023 RISE scores for my last year's students. And I'm going to choose my summative math scores and click Go to Dashboard. I'll click Summative Math again. And I've got 3 tests here that I can view. I'll choose Summative Math 7. And now I can see my overall summary view. It will default to showing me the total, percent proficient, proficiency distribution, etc. But I'm going to close that and I'm going to open these different views for expressions and equations, geometry, ratios and proportional relationships, basically any sub-score that is available for the test. I can see these strengths and weaknesses views for each of those areas, and it will tell me which standards are being tested. And I can use this legend right here to interpret the information. So I can see anywhere that has a plus sign, that's an area of strength. And this is compared to the student's performance on the rest of the test. So it's compared to their own performance, and it's just saying whether the student is proficient or not, was this an area where they did especially well or especially poorly? So strength, weakness, or it's just similar to the test as a whole. If you ever see an asterisk, that means there just weren't enough questions asked in that area to draw a conclusion. I can also see some symbols under proficient, and that's just telling me for where the proficiency standard is set. Is the student above the standard, at, near, or below the standard? So anytime you want to refresh your memory on what these symbols mean, just click on the little I in a circle, and it will tell you what the standard is, what the symbols mean. The I in the circle is always a legend that you can use. So I can go through and I can see what are the strengths and weaknesses for my students as a whole class. This is a summary view. It's only available for a whole class or a group of students. You're not going to see strengths and weaknesses down to the individual student level. But let's save this view because I want to compare this same group of students and see what their strengths and weaknesses were on 6th grade math. So first I want to make sure that I've got all of this information so I don't have to navigate back to it later. So I'll go to Features and Tools, and then I'll click Print. I could print this, or I could just save it to a PDF. I prefer to save it to Excel because you can see there's a lot of different columns in the view that you can print to a PDF, but I think it's less awkward just to put it all in an Excel file. So I'll click Confirm, and it will prepare that view for me. So I can click on it and download it. And this Secure File Center is where all of your requests for printing anything are sent. It's always up here at the top right. So if you've asked it to generate any student reports or print anything within the RISE reporting interface, you can go to your Secure File Center, and it will have a list of all of your requests from the last 30 days that you can download again. All right, so I've got the information for my students' strengths and weaknesses for 2023. Let's see how that compares to those same students in 2022. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Features and Tools, and I'm going to change the reporting time period. I still want my students from the end of the year 2023, but I want their results from 2022, from when they were in 6th grade. So I'll just change the results here and leave the roster the same. I'll click Save. I'll go back to my math dashboard. Summative mathematics is what I want. And then I can see I've got some 6th grade results right here that I can look at, and that's what I want to see. So I'll click on Summative Math 6. And then I can go through and look at the same information. For the standards from 6th grade for expressions and equations, were my students weak or strong in those areas? And I can print a copy of this as well to Excel and have both of those side by side to make that comparison a little bit easier. But this is how you can take any view that you can see for your roster in the RISE reporting system. You can just change the roster date or change the results date, and you can look at that same view over time for the same cohort of students. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach me at brooke.anderson@jordandistrict.org or at 801-567-8393.